Great to have Kev Towey as a guest on the Football On Draught Podcast. Thanks for joining us, Kev. Everything okay?
Yeah, good, mate.
Keith, back with us. How are you?
Good.
Excellent. How's Everton getting on?
Let's not speak. No, we're doing okay. Good couple of results the last couple of weeks, so
doing all right.
Up the toffees.
Enough about them. So, Kev, we'll have a look back through at your football career, but when I spoke to you about coming on the show, your response to me was, I haven't got a story, but I genuinely think your story probably resonates more with people because of the trajectory it took and the way you've been and how you've done. So I think it's a great opportunity to look back and look at the good times, look at the not so good times, and hopefully drag some interesting stories about teams and players and managers and whatnot.
Okay.
And obviously, the freedom to express your feelings on your own career. Obviously, our paths crossed without knowing so quite early on.
Yeah.
In a
good day for you, wasn't it?
In a good day for me, yeah, one of my favourite. But we'll come to that later, as you mentioned. Talk to us about your sort of early career in terms of youth football and where you played, how it sort of started, and how that looked.
So started just as I think probably 7-year-old, got involved in it. Went down to the local club, Brookvale United, over in Runcorn, and at the time there was none of this kind of small-sided games and stuff. I think we played with 12 people. I'm sure there was 12.
Straight in, big goals.
Yeah, big goals. 12 on each side, and I was a year younger because it was an under-9s and I was 7, so kind of getting bits of game time. And I always remember my first ever goal. My half fella saying, "Look, when you get a corner, just like linger around the penalty spot," and one come over, managed to get on the end of it, and that kind of become a little bit of a taste to wanting to do it again.
Do you remember scoring your first ever?
Remember where it was. Remember the pitch it was on and everything. I always kind of go back to it. Remember them words that he said. And I've kind of had a little bit of looking around that area since. So yeah, they've been decent advice.
So from there, carried on at Brookvale, was it?
Yeah. So again, just kind of when the older year went up, I stayed in that year. I stayed in the under-9s and kind of was scoring regularly then, and then getting noticed by clubs. Went into Chester first, and they took me, and then I had a decision to make because then Crewe and Everton came in for me.
What age were you now?
Yeah, under-9, so I'll be 8, maybe 9. And Everton come in for me, but massive Liverpool fan. Still was a no-brainer, and I think again it's different nowadays where all these clubs and academies, the people just take them to wherever. There's not really that don't go there, but back in my day, you shouldn't be going to Everton like all the Reds, and there was that kind of outlook, but and there was never any interest in Liverpool, so it was a Premier League team I wanted to go, and I went to Everton, spent a couple of years there, but the difficulty was kind of as a kid, and then looking back I have a little bit of a different recollection of it, is and again I kind of simulated to today's day and age where all these academies have like 60-70 boys, but back then you only had 14 or 16 of what they would consider the best in the area, and I was one of them. Unfortunately, I was from Runcorn, and it was full of a team of Scousers, like deep Liverpool, so I was a little bit of an outcast and not bullied or nothing, but just kind of not really involved in stuff, and it felt a little bit detached, and I think that was why eventually after 2 or 3 years it kind of come to an end, because I just didn't really fit in, although I was playing okay, just didn't really fit in with the group.
Didn't really enjoy it, mate?
There was definitely times I didn't enjoy it. I remember the 95 cup final, going back a bit here, but we'd all the club had paid for all the boys to go down to watch the game. I was a Red, but it was the FA Cup final. It was one of them where you used to get up on a morning and watch the whole build-up, so to be part of it. I went to get on the coach back at Belfield. I just started crying, didn't want to go. I was 95, so I would have been 10, 11. Just didn't want to go because it just felt like horrible. And looking back, again, I wasn't bullied, but it was just didn't fit in. And the whole day of being out without my mum and dad for the day in that environment just didn't feel right. Yeah.
So it came out of Everton.
Yeah.
What was the next stop?
Next stop was Stoke. A couple of years later, I'd had a little bit of upheaval in family life. My mum and dad had gone through a bit of a messy divorce. My dad had gone to prison, which coincided with it all. So I was a little bit messed up in that early teenage years where, and I mean emotionally, where didn't really know what I wanted, just went back playing for Brookvale, local football. And then I must have been about 13, 14. And one of the teachers in our school, he was like, you've got to be playing for somebody. Like, you can't just be playing with your mates and that, you've got something to offer. And he had me in like the gym, like sessions on my own, like bleep test and testing me levels and stuff. And he was like, I'm going to get you somewhere. And he spoke to 1 or 2 clubs in Stoke, said, yeah, send them down. And then I signed there for 2 years till I was just like where the 14 to 16 it was.
Where you get scholar or not scholar.
Yeah, so we went in on like that kind of March time where you get on a but you get bombed.
And I got bombed.
and I didn't get a white tee. I think out of the 16 of us, two of them did. But I was a little bit disappointed because I'd had a little bit of a taste with the first year white tees and stuff in some games and done okay and scored some goals. But again, looking back enough, I've never been quick, and at the time I wasn't really strong, so I think they wanted a bit more than the odd Croix turn.
So we're up to sort of leaving school age, getting to there. Obviously you've alluded to it there, but all that time through, always a centre forward, never sort of flaunted with dropping into. I know there weren't such things as 10s and. Arguably, I know you're a little bit of an old football romantic like myself, and a traditionalist certainly like myself. For me, you're a centre midfielder. Why you have to pigeonhole into a 4 or an 8 or a 10. What happened to your central midfielder who does everything.
Up and down.
But no, you're always a centre forward.
Always a centre forward. I think what was probably unique about me back then is I was probably a 10 before 10s existed. Like I had the intelligence even as a young player to drop into that half space where the midfielders were checking the shoulders and the centre half's going, I'm not coming in there. And I think that's where I got a lot of joy because I could pick stuff up in there, and I was quite good at taking people on and stuff. And
I suppose it was Sheringham, wasn't it? It was the sort of around that time it was that type, and he probably was the first real. You looked at Sheringham as being the ultimate sort of 10, didn't you? In that sort of era.
Yeah, well, you think though, and you had Bergkamp, Zola, like all them sort of people who were.
Probably was more 10s before it. Had a label on it.
They were second centre forwards, but they were dropping that thing, and I didn't model myself on them, but I suppose if you're looking for the kind of type of player, I'd consider myself. That's what I was.
And I mean. Those type of players were more, as you say, second strikers, whereas I think maybe today the 10s are more midfielders who push forward a little bit, aren't they? I suppose that was when you went back when I was a kid, and probably when you played 4-4-2. And so you played 2 up front, and you were second, probably big one, little one up top, and that was proper football, wasn't it? Left foot on the left, right foot on the right.
Sounding like dinosaurs now.
I know.
I'll go back to it.
I can't wait for it to come
at the back
round. It will come back round. I promise you, it will come back round. Wait, at some point there'll be a left footer on the left, a right footer will be Jason Wilcox, Stuart Ripley, and Shearer and Sutton up front again.
I hope so, mate.
Well, Luke Sharp was Man United, wasn't he? But it was. That was. I know football's evolved and come on since then, and a lot of people would argue for the better.
I don't.
I agree. I think watching it back then, it was pure, it was real. And it was so it was just proper football, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But we could sit here all day.
I've got to say, can we spend the next hour discussing this?
Yeah. So we're 16. Been released by Stoke.
Yeah.
What's next?
The real world, where you kind of pinned all your hopes into being a footballer. Thinking you're getting a YTS and. Then you'd have that summer with your mates where you just kind of mess about and whatnot. And then it gets to kind of August, September, people are going to college and going on their career paths, which they've kind of designated, and you're lost. So just went and got a job in a factory with my mate and messed about in the factory and just did whatever, and then got another job, and it got to December, and I think I was on my 3rd or 4th job, and I'd been out of school kind of 6 months, and I got a phone call from a guy called Chaz Asula, who was, he'd been a youth coach at Runcorn, so kind of knew of me, and he said, look, I'm going into Chester as the youth team assistant. I'm going to kind of see if we can get you in to just, you know, I think I've seen the boys, I think you're good enough. So I was like, all right. He went, can you get there tomorrow? I'm like, I had work. I was like, I've got work and stuff. And so anyway, my mate was going into work, and then it was mad because I worked with my mate, and then there was another lad, close mate, who he was starting and due to start or go for an interview the next day. So he goes in to work, and I swerved it so I could go to this trial. But I told them I was sick or something, but my mate tells them where I've gone. It just absolutely kills me. So then my other mate comes in for the interview, and the story goes that, like, he says, well, he's gone for the trial, he's walked out, you still want the job? he just goes, no, you're okay. So the three of us, my mate had left because I'd gone there, so it took a bit of a gamble, and that was like just before Christmas. It was in December. It must have been like, I remember it being close to Christmas, last week before Christmas, and I had a week there, and then the YTs were off over Christmas, over them coming in for like the Boxing Day game and to do the jobs and stuff. Didn't go back till the January. I'm still on trial and all through the January, and I was thinking, oh, where's this going? And then the youth team manager was Gordon Hill, if you remember him, winger for Man United, back in like the 70s. He played one side and Coppola played the other. And Gordon called me in like early February, just before my 17th birthday, and said, like, we're going to offer you the YTS and stuff. And I remember leaving the room like just so elated and dead happy. I mean, at the time, Chester were in the conference, but it was just such a big thing for me to be back in full-time football and going back to having to get jobs. And I thought, here we go, like, I can get right on it. Yeah.
So fantastic. Sort of fall, and it's difficult to penetrate a youth team when the season started and they've got the scholars and things. So obviously from that point of view, you know, I think that's an unusual thing to have happened. So it shows of the level that you must have been at. Yeah,
that again, when I went in and you play in the games, and it wasn't friendlies. I was playing in what would have been the Youth Alliance. They kind of signed me on like a non-contract thing during this trial period, and I was scoring goals and I felt really comfortable. Definitely didn't feel out of place. You know, as good as anyone they had. That's how I felt at the time. And so again, I was quite confident. But based on what had happened to me, kind of 6-8 months earlier, that was in the back of my mind, thinking, don't get too complacent. So yeah.
So were you digs or travel over?
No, it was Chester. I lived in Runcorn, so it was a 20-minute train journey from one station to the next, and then a taxi. Or most of the time, and I was really tight. I lived with my nan and granddad, and I'd blag my granddad. I'd say, fancy taking me to training and stuff, and he'd take me to training, and kind of abused it a little bit, really, looking back. But it was really good, and no digs. It was great, kind of just growing up and being in the big wide world, but going to football.
Yeah, proper.
Yeah.
So was that first season 2000, 2001 or 2001, 2002?
Yeah, 2000 I left school, 2000 to 2001. So in the February 2001 signed there, I had a decent finish to the season. Was never anywhere near the first team or anything, but kind of got me the second half of the first year scholar under my belt. And going back then, I don't know what it was like, kind of when you was at Rushton and stuff, but our club were a bit tight in terms of most of the lads I knew on YTs at other clubs would do like the first year, then they'd sign the pro.
Right.
Or definitely by the second year, whereas ours used to drag it on right the way through.
No, ours did.
We ended the second
year. And the third. They take you to your third.
No, Rushton was at the end of the second year. But I'll take it back, as you mentioned earlier, to the end of your first year as a scholar.
Was that year, was it?
That was that year, 2000, 2001, I think. Yeah. Obviously, Rushton played Chester last game of the season.
Yeah.
We had to win the league, but it was by like 60.
Did you always already done it?
No, we'd already done it, but there could have been a 16
massive goal swing.
Yeah.
Was it Yeovil, was it?
Yeah, Yeovil had lost to Hereford on the Tuesday. So it was I think it was 16 goals there had to be different.
Yeah,
so
it's never happened, was it?
No, I mean Rushton, the fans we took that day
oh
was
mate,
phenomenal.
I'd never seen anything like it. And
and this was youth level?
No, this was the first. He was in the first team at
Rushton,
but I didn't know him till 15, 20 years later. But I just remember the entourage they brought that day. I remember seeing them because they spent a few quid, hadn't they? They had Simeon and
no, that was Dwayne.
It was
Darby
the two up front.
Justin Jackson. Yeah.
Like two as good as you could get at that level, weren't they? Like proper goal scorers, and you had other good players and some good young players as well. And I remember the entourage they brought, and we dropped out the Football League, and they were going the other way. So Chester were kind of on the down a little bit, stagnated. I think we finished 8th or 9th in the conference, and these were flying, like going for the Football League. I just remember all the skips and everything turning up, and the aftermath. And because I was in the youth team, I'd be on the job, so I'd be cleaning the dressing rooms and stuff after. I think I told you the story about going in. Do you have a French keeper or a foreign keeper?
French Michael Patocki.
And he just won the conference, and he was like had his head in his hands, and I'd gone in to do the dressing room. I kind of asked him was he okay, and I think he missed his flight or something to wherever he was going back. And looking back, you're like, what are you doing booking a flight at like 7:30 on a Saturday night?
You just won the league.
You just won the league, shouldn't you be out with the lads? And yeah, they're the memories I had from that. But it was just such a good place. Just again looking back, probably the best time in football of my life when I really look back. Just the camaraderie and just stupid things, stupid games but back then again there was no wokeness about the place in terms of like people could the first team would do what they want they'd lock you in things. They'd do stuff to you in terms of like they test your character and stuff, and you know I was dead cheeky.
I bet you got battered.
I was dead cheeky, so I just get filled in, but was half a decent player, so they had a little bit of respect for me, but still fill me in and stuff. And I think what probably got me around it is although we had to do jobs, you didn't have to do boots. That wasn't compulsory. Boots was optional, and not a lot of the lads enjoyed doing the boots, but I didn't mind. So I had agreements with some of the pros where like a £5 a week or something they'd give me. Bear in mind your YTS money was what 47.50 a week.
I think ours was 25 first year, 35 second year.
195 quid for the month it was. 190. I remember actually 195 or 196. So I had agreements with like Paul Carden, Mark Beasley, them sort. I used to do all them boots. I still remember it now. Puma Kings, Cards would be World Cups. Cards would be World Cups in August. Like rock hard. He still have World Cups on. And he just got a £5 a week off them. So that topped me up nicely for me Saturday night.
Brilliant. Those youth team days, I look back. You know, at the dressing room in Rushton where we got changed had no windows. The away dressing room. And you just be in there and the light would go off and you just get rampaged by, and the youth team keeper smashed his face. He ran, I knew he was coming for him, and he ran across the dressing room into a brick wall. He had like 6 stitches.
No sympathy though?
No one cared. Everyone just laughed.
You'd laugh. Put the light on and you laugh.
Yeah, 100%. And he was laughing, and went in and the physio comes in and obviously goes down. But they're the memories, you know, unbelievable, great times. Yeah,
they were great. And but like I was saying, Gordon, the youth team manager, and then in the summer, because Graham Barrow was the gaffer, and then in the summer there was some upheaval, because I don't know if you remember, we had Terry Smith, the chairman.
Yeah, there was big demonstrations against him in that game, wasn't there?
American owner. He'd been an American footballer, and I think he'd won the Super League. Super League. Had like a Super Bowl ring and stuff, and but he'd kind of become too involved, and he was like taking training and stuff. I think Graham Barrow, who was well respected, been around the block and that, he'd seen his backside, and he just washed his hands in the June. So Gordon Hill got the first team manager's job in the June, and Shaz, who was the assistant who had originally recommended, he become the youth team manager. So as I was going into my second year in that summer, he like pulled me and said, look, I want you to be the captain as a second year, and that, which was really good. Got a bit of stick off the lads and stuff, or Chaz's favourite and all that sort of stuff. And again, being a forward, it was a bit like your skippers, you're a centre-back, your keeper, but must have offered something, because the lads were kind of okay with it, and he was alright. But yeah, Gord going to be the manager, he used to call him Gord, being the youth team manager, and he come in that day, and he was big time really. I mean, you could be played for United in England, so I suppose you could be. Yeah. But you'd mention a name, and he always knew the person, or he'd always one of them. He got like he said, like Steve Coppers. Oh yeah, Cops. And you're like, shut up. Just like, but yeah, he was. I just remember that going back to him that summer where he come in. All right, good, gaffer. Straight away, I thought, I get it, but
label it straight
away. So, but to that, I'm going to wind him up now. So I said, like, I'm not calling Gaffer. He's good. Every time I see him, he's good. Don't care. Kept calling him good. And he got fuming with me, pulled me one day, like absolutely up to the office and battered me in terms of what I should call him and stuff. And next time I see him, I'm like, God, just a wind up like that. But it's probably why I never got nowhere. Because anyone normal would go, well, our manager's now got a first team job, I'm going to be dead good now. Whereas I went the other way thinking, I'm not having that. So I think as a 17-year-old, probably just not clever enough to recognise, be cute. Yeah.
So end of second year released?
So we did that year as a second year, did really well. That got us to 2002. And went away with the lads in the summer, and I would say went away. We didn't have much money, so we went to Butland to Skegness.
That's a way.
Yeah, it is now. I've got loads of kids and that. With some of the lads were going to like Magaluf and stuff, but I didn't have the money to do it. So me and my mates, we went to Butland to Skegness, and long story short, I ended up meeting a girl there, who now I've got a 21-year-old and 19-year-old all because of going to Butland's in 2002. And I think that's where me kind of life and me career changed because of that, and I'm not blaming it. Wouldn't change them for the world. But met her in the summer of 2002. She lived in Bradford, and then I didn't drive, so the commute from kind of Chester, Runcorn, Bradford, it was a bit of a mission, and I was spending a lot of time in Bradford, loved up, not concentrating on me 40 missing training. It was full time, but just got to the point where halfway through me second year, where it should have been my biggest year, and I'd come back in that after that 2002, in the summer, and I was flying. I'd spent like a month in the gym, just running, just spent a month on a treadmill, just running, where we got back and no one could get near me, like middle distance, long distance. I remember doing, I always look back at it, we used to do the race course in Chester.
I believe so, yeah. When I signed for Chester, someone said
there was the river run.
There was the river run.
That was it, the river run. And there was also the race course, which the race course is a mile round, it's 8 furlongs. I'd do 3 of them in less than 18 minutes. So what's that, 5k in less than 18 minutes? It was decent going. Yeah, and there was no one in the youth team who could live with me on it. And I'd started to play even better. And then I'd done that, I'd kind of met a girl and changed my direction a bit. So it got to like the Christmas, was it? Mark Wright had come in by then. So God had gone. We had a proper gaffer now. It did call gaffer.
Right, not right, you know.
No, I was respectful. So he'd come in and he liked me because I was the youth team captain. I was kind of delegated the jobs and stuff. My job was to do his office, make him a brew and stuff. And so I got to spend a bit of time with him and kind of, he liked me as a person, he liked me as a player. But then again, I had this thing going on where by the October or the November, she got pregnant. So now I was in my second year on like 200 odd quid a week with a kid on the way, not getting in the first team. So I had the decision to make what I had to do, and it come down to having to kind of go and play part-time football and get a job.
Provide.
Yeah. Don't know about provide, but survive.
Not talking about football provide.
Yeah.
Survival. Roll with the punches.
Yeah. So that took me to Chester. Were trying to kind of keep hold of me in that third year, and I was like reneging a little bit in terms of just wanted to go, but they wanted me to see it out and try and work with me to a certain extent. So they sent me out on loan to Carnarvon in the Welsh Prem, and then I went there and played a few games, and it wasn't really for me. It was a horrible, ugly league at the time. Not a lot of football played, and again going back to not being quick and not being strong, just wasn't ready for it.
So what happened? What was after Chester?
After Chester, kind of just dotted about a little bit, and went to Denby Town in like the Welsh, the second or third, because somebody from who'd been at Chester got the job, and just I wasn't up to nothing, took me there, and it was just a kind of pay-as-you-play deal, and there was no training. I turned up on a Saturday. There was training, but I didn't go. I was going to Denby midweek, so just waved me in on a Saturday, a few quid and stuff, and we went back working and and then from there kind of dropped into the English pyramid side of things. I think the first place I went was Warrington. We went to Warrington Town, and then that was it. That was kind of like the start of me proper non-league journey in terms of men's footy. I never really come out of it. I'd wanted to, and it was still that little glimmer of hope from kind of being 19 to about 22, where I thought I could just work hard, just catch someone's eye, get another goal, and it just never happened. Again, probably because of my attitude. That I don't know if I had a bad attitude, just had a cheeky attitude there, where it was more like I'll mess about, I'll go to bookies with my mates, because I wasn't really a drinker, so it wasn't even a case I was on the ale. I was fit, I could play, but extracurricular activities just kind of. And again, I had a kid, so by the summer of 2003, in July, our Callum was born, who I say he's 21 now. He's got his own kids. I'm a granddad now. So yeah, that makes me feel old, but just had to kind of reignite it.
A bit of reality then, mate, doesn't it? Think
it was massive.
On the way, and then it's like you're not the priority anymore.
No,
somebody else is the priority. So it's a case of now what do we have to do?
Yeah, what?
Unfortunately, work takes priority, and providing takes priority. So
it was horrible, like, because what had also happened as well is between me and the kid's mum, like she was in Bradford, I was here, and we had like nowhere kind of set and stuff. And we ended up in like sheltered accommodation stuff. It's a time in my life where I always look back to, and it's kind of bowled me well in terms of building back up and like doing okay throughout footy, albeit in non-league. Like people ask me about it, and I've had loads of fun doing it. It's been great, but there's some things I would change looking back at, and more so the decisions on like calling God and stuff and things like that, where it could have just have been cuter, because I felt that I was good enough to be able to kick on, but for probably my fault, my face didn't fit.
Does it frustrate you then when you look at some players who have gone higher and played higher, that and you think to yourself, if only you hadn't been like that? Or do you think that was me? If people weren't prepared to take me for me, then that's up to them. Or do you think maybe I should have maybe played to the system, or played the system a bit better and created the opportunity for myself and towed the line is the word I suppose I'm looking for.
Yeah, definitely the first, mate, definitely. Because it was the wrong way to go about it, and when I have players now and I educate them, and it's quite funny because the players I work with now, and when I'm managing them, they'll do little things, and some of the lads who either still play for me or play for me, they'll go, I know what you did, I know, but don't do what I did. I'm trying to educate you.
Not what I did.
And that's what I try and do, and I'll revert back to, and we'll probably touch on some of the stories, because I don't think it gets any better as I get older. A little bit better once I met my wife. She kind of helped me a little bit, but I continued with that like cheekiness, like not give a fuck type. It was just a game. It was just a game, and I was going to play on a Saturday, whether I was paying me 5 subs or whether someone was going to pay me 50 grand. I would have been exactly the same, I think.
So I think in that sense, you could you look back and say I was me. I was always a sort of myself, and like you say, whether you were paid 50 quid or 500 quid, you're always going to be yourself and be who you are. And I suppose I get what you're saying. You should have maybe in hindsight, maybe towed the line a little bit, but at least you can look back and say you're honest to yourself and you're trying to
dress this up here a bit. It's trying to make me feel better, mate. It doesn't. I'll still go home and still feel the same. But I think again, as I've got older and I've kind of reflected on it, I don't think regret's the word, but because
it's a what if, innit?
It's a what if. I've met some wonderful people in non-league, some really good people.
Well, I mean, look, you know, going on to that next part of your career, you know, I think obviously Warrington, Leek, Marine, Runcorn, Widnes, Barnton, Widnes. You know, I think all those clubs you created. I'd say
legacy.
Legacy.
No, it is a bit of a legacy.
Widnes, you're an all-time leading goal scorer. Barnton, are you? You must be like you are a leading goal scorer. Runcorn, you're second.
Couple behind. I should have stayed again.
No, I thought you were being leading goal scorer.
No, again, I
think
dead soon, wasn't it? 70 odd in about 120 odd games. But again, I left too soon where I fell out with Joey and again just did it my way and seen my arse and bailed. But if you said to me now you need another few goals to be Runcorn's all-time scorer, that I would have stuck around. But you don't think like that.
Well, no, they're the things I think, when the smaller things. So I look back and I think 30 games away from being Russian's all-time leading performance. So I had a season where I went to Luton, and I don't regret that. But if I'd stayed for that season,
you'd have them appearances.
I'd be top, you know. And they're the little things which you think, you know, they don't matter to anybody else and nobody else, but just the little regrets maybe.
Yeah, they do matter
that you have. But,
So
what was the highest you played? Was it league? Was that step 3?
Yeah, it would have been step. The conference, when did the Conference North come in?
Conference North step 2.
Yeah, but that kind of there used to be Conference Prem and then Unibond. There used to be no Conference North and South. But I think by then, it would have been Leek, Marine. They would have been step 3 teams. Yeah, looking to get into the Conference North. Looking to get into the Conference North. So kind of that period, which would have been kind of 2006, 2007. But again, at that level, relatively comfortable for me. It didn't.
You scored goals as well.
Yeah. But I was up until. So I'd been a forward, right up until being at Chester, and then I think because of my size and go back to it, never been quick. I kind of started to play on the right hand side. Managers have recognised that I could offer something from there, not be involved in the physical game, the physical side of it, but arrive and again had a bit of a brain to go and join in with the forwards. So a lot of them goals were scored from the right hand side, and then it was only once I went to Runcorn later on that I become a forward again.
I was doing a little bit of research leading into, and I stumbled across a story.
Which one?
About how you left Leek. Something to do with a text message.
Marine, mate. Yeah. It was on the back of the Echo or something.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
The Echo or the Crosby Herald or one of them. Towey and text, Fiasco Exit or something. I don't know, something along those lines. Yeah. Again, just me being an idiot. Alvin McDonald had signed a few young lads in the summer. He signed me, he signed Sean Tuck. He's no Tuck at all.
We best leave him there.
Yeah, me Tuck and.
John Lawless there? John Lawless?
No, John was after us.
Was he after you?
Yeah, John was after us.
I'm gonna. The text message was definitely Leek.
No, it wasn't.
It was.
It was Marine.
The one I read earlier was Leek. You sent a text at Leek as well.
No, you're lying now, bitch.
100% it was Leek.
Well, no, you misinformed me. It was at Marine, definitely.
The text message is out then, isn't it?
It wasn't. I'll tell you why it wasn't Leek in a sec. But so we'd signed a few in the sort of Carl O'Donnell, forward. So, and we were all kind of early 20s, and we were all chomping at the bit. But they had 2 forwards in Peter Comiskey and
who's now the assistant Prescott.
Yeah, unbelievable goal scorer. Like he was 34 at the time, and he was just like didn't hardly run, but just bang, goal. Just in awe of him, like as a forward. And Nicky Young, who was a similar sort of age, and them two had played for Alvin at Vauxhall. They'd gone like an FA Cup run and done really well. But us 3 were like waiting in the wings, and we were the next thing. But he'd like pulled Tuck and Carl O'Donnell's nickname Spud. He'd pulled Tuck and Spud and like give them a contract and stuff. And I was like, what about me? So I'd seen my arse and said something that got back to him. So then went in one Thursday and he had a contract there for me. And I said, no, you can get fucked. So I was moaning about it. And then gone, and I swear I walked into a room. But he kind of dropped it on me. That's what annoyed me. Walked into the room and there's him, the chairman. And he went, yeah, it was put this together, blah, blah, blah. I didn't say get fucked, but in not so many words, I swerved them.
Right.
And again, just being...
Where did the text come in?
Oh, okay, so that was on the back of that, because by that time, Paul Moore had got the Warrington job. So I knew Paul, and Paul had kind of made me a decent offer to go to Warrington. It was close to home, because again, I still wasn't driving, till 25. Still wasn't driving, so to get from Runcorn to Marine, logistical nightmare. So I signed for Warrington on better dough and stuff, and I kind of engineered it and see me, but instead of just being straight as a young lad and going, look, this is it, thought I had to blow it all up to thingy, and he brought me off in an FA. This the one you're on about. He brought me off in a scam.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's Marine. Brought me off in an FA Cup game, and he said that I walked down the tunnel and didn't shake his hand. Doesn't sound like me, does it?
Yeah, it was definitely that one. No.
I didn't.
And stormed out and didn't.
Stormed down the tunnel. Big times that. Didn't have, and I remember his word. He hadn't had about by his own accounts. He hadn't had the greatest games, which I hadn't. I was terrible. And I think from then I just kind of saw my arse and just I knew I was going there, and I texted him to release me. Again, rather than ringing or going to see him like a man, which I'd expect from my players now, just lack of education in terms of how to be a footballer even at non-league level. But and by the way, what an amazing club it was, like Marine, even, well, they've got themselves up to the Conference North now, but I remember going in there and thinking this is as close to Chester as I'd seen in terms of set up, the ground, the way they operated on match day. It was methodical. It was really good, mate. So that's where the text message. Message come from. Yeah. So then I went to Warrington. From there. Yeah. I'd been at Warrington, then went to Leek. Yeah. And then from Leek went to Marine.
Okay.
From Marine back to Warrington.
Right. Okay.
So I ended up back there.
And then Linnets.
After Warrington. No. So I was at Warrington, Paul Moore was the manager, and it was a bit tight really, because by now I'm probably 23, 24, 23, but I'd been around a little bit in terms of non-league and stuff. I thought I knew it all, but the text message obviously shows I didn't. And Paul we were on a bit of a bad run because we weren't doing it for him. Like, we just weren't trying hard enough when we look back. And they were bringing Joey Dunn in. Joey done really well at Bearscough. I think maybe in Bearscough reserves. Liam might have been the manager at Bearscough. And he'd done really well, and he'd come in on his first job, but he'd come in with like a really professional outlook. And it wasn't what I wanted. So I liked Joey because growing up, I was a Runcorn fan, and Joey played for Runcorn. Right. So I'd gone to... It was really good him coming in, but his assistant who he was bringing with him, Stu, I didn't like. He was like a sergeant major, and listening to what we've heard in the first bit, I don't react well to rules and doing things that I So we got Stewie, and I just said to Joe, look, he was like, I want to keep you. I'm going to keep him a couple, build the team. We need to go there, but you're important. And I was like, nah, I'm okay. And at the time, Skem were flying in the same league, and Tommy Lawson rang me and he said, look, I want to bring you in here. We were just about to sell Sean McConville to Ashton Town, and he'd been flying for them, like, again, playing on the right hand side. He said, you'll slot in there, so I thought, it's big shoes to fill. He'd been really, really good, and I went there and I proper hit the ground running, and I found like a newfound... Tommy kind of knew how to manage me.
Okay, push the right buttons.
Yeah, he knew how to put me in the box when he had to, and I respected him for it. There was certain times I'd step out of line, and again the old kind of traits had come out, and he'd kind of just whip me back in line. But he kind of got me. He got me. He'd give me the little bit of a leash to play, the freedom, and I think I signed there in the January of 2008. McConville went in just before I'd signed. I scored like 15 goals from the right hand side from January to the end of the season in about 20-25 games. Finished really well. Yeah.
So Skem then to Linnets, was it?
Yeah, so again, that comes on the back of me, like just being a bit of a baby, and I was really integral in Tommy's plans. And when you're going back to about players, there was players getting moves to conference teams and stuff from Skem. We had quite a few players go, like so Stiachrig and Ollie went, and there was about 4 or 5 boys who got moves. And I was like thinking, what about me? Because I think I was still only about 24. But in terms of conference and that, I still felt, because at that level, it was quite easy for me. It was quite easy, and just wasn't. But again, looking back, I was just an headache. I was just an headache, like missing training by now and stuff, and just doing what I want, because I got myself into a comfort zone, knowing that my ability alone would get me through games. My ability alone was going to get me in games, and if Tommy didn't want me, someone else. That was the attitude, which
creating a reputation for yourself.
Yeah, and it wasn't the right thing. So there's some regrets I do have, but it helps me with younger players now in terms of trying to educate them and not be an idiot. Because for far too long, I let my ability get me through. Where it's not everything, is it?
No, 100%. No. Obviously, you know, I met you. You came to Barnton. You'd obviously done brilliant at Linux, as you say. And it was, you know, you came at a time where Rossi had taken over the club. And we were doing well. Did you sign for me or did you sign for Leon?
For Leon. Yeah. So I'd finished top scorer in the league above. Yeah. For Runcorn. Yeah. And Rossi had turned me out with a few quid, hadn't he? Yeah. So, so I'd kind of, we'd finished second with Runcorn, but again, I was, but it was a lot older now, because there'd been a few years, I'd been at Runcorn for a few years. I'd settled down, I was playing really well. Joey, very similar to Tommy, proper knew how to manage me, and because I was getting a little bit older, he'd educate me in terms of how I should look after myself and stuff. And come into Barton as being top scorer in the league above and drop down the league, didn't I?
It was massive.
I remember that. I remember you coming in and you say, you come into us, and it was the league below, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I like in like the local papers and that, they were making a big deal of it, like why has he gone there and stuff. But we were ambitious, weren't we?
Yeah, we were. It was a good club, but it was a mad club.
It was crazy, wasn't it?
You know, the pitch and you know, it felt, as the season went on, it seemed to get further and further away, didn't it, Barnton? You know, as you're driving across there, it just...
Yeah, I think...
It was difficult.
It started bright though, didn't it? Because like you said, Leon had gone in as the gaffer and you were the assistant. Yeah. And it started really bright and we started bright, but then we had a little bit of a lull where we kind of fell behind. I think Hanley and Earlham, they were there or thereabouts, so we were looking at we weren't going to make automatic, and it did. It got further and further the drive.
Yeah, it did, yeah. It was difficult. But you had good times, and then obviously stepped into management there. At Barnton? No, you went across to...
I was playing at Barnton, and then we got promoted. We got promoted.
Yeah.
We got to the playoffs, didn't we?
Playoff final.
That was another time I see me arse, because Meds had took over, hadn't he? Meds and Pritchard took over, and we got to the playoff semi-final, and I'd been injured in the run-up, and I had a niggle with my thigh and stuff. And then we got to the playoff semi-final, and he hadn't spoken to me, and he named the team, and I wasn't in it. Right. I was on the bench, and I was fuming, proper fuming, because I should have been playing. I declared myself fit. What I was fuming about is he hadn't pulled me before to go, look, this is my decision, like it or lump it. So the first I know I'm not playing, everybody else knows. So I'd scored, I don't know, 35. Yeah. I was probably on about 35 for the season. Yeah. Top scorer in the league again, and all the lads are looking going, he's not playing. And he's not spoke to me, so I'm in the warm and I was raging. Like, I was ready to get off. I reckon if Rossi wasn't chairman, I would have got off. It was only because like I knew him and I had respect for him, because I'd lost respect for them too in that moment. And I don't know if you remember, he brought me on at half time.
I do, yeah, rings a bell, yeah.
He brought me on at half time in the playoff final. We were 1-0 down, scored a hat-trick.
Yeah.
And like afterwards, I pulled him and I just said, please don't do that to me ever again, because it like upset me. The fact that he just didn't have I was 30 up, I was 31, 32.
Respect for you, didn't
just to go, listen, you might like it, but you're not playing today. I would have, what am I going to say? No. I took it as it was. So yeah, that was that. We got promoted. It was good. And then we went to Widnes, carried on playing again there. Just got another 40 that season, and then Joey Dunnard actually, he'd been out of management for a while, and he took the Widnes job. We won the league there, got promoted back up to the county's Prem, and then in the county's Prem we'd had a bad start, and it got to like October, and Joey resigned, and Rossi phoned me, and he said, look, Joey's gone. Do you want it? Do you want the job? And I think it was 34 at the time. And I was there with Steve, and Steve was like struggling with an injury, so I said, oh, look, we'll do it. Me and him will do it. And we were like mid-table. But Joey left a really good squad. Probably just needed a couple of additions. Did we bring you in then? Is that when you come in? Yeah. And then we just went on like the best run ever.
Was it 26 out of 27?
23 out of 25.
23 out of 25.
We lost one and we drew one. Yeah. Out of the 25.
123 out.
People say to me, how did you do it? Like it's some sort of magic wand. There wasn't. I don't know is the answer.
Probably constantly. It's probably like the lads have been like, because you've been in and around the dressing room, you're one of the lads, and it's like one of the lads has stepped up to take it now, so it's a little bit, do you know what, I like him, he's sound, I'll play for him.
Maybe, yeah. I just, when you asked me to try and put it into context, it was like, we signed one or two players, like we got Phil Duran in, who was a brilliant fantastic left back, which we were missing. But I think it was just more going to back what we spoke about before, that just generating momentum, and it just becomes a habit, habit. And it just went for a stretch, because we didn't really change much. We didn't change. We rotated a little bit. We had like 3 forwards who we'd kind of, I think it was me, George and Ben, who you'd play like 2 of every 3 games, and everyone just did the job. Everyone was reliable, weren't they?
Yeah, well, yeah. No, it's fantastic. We won the cup that year as well.
Yeah, we won the cup at Fleetwood.
Yeah, fantastic, great times. And then, obviously, that year, I suppose we were fortunate in the fact that 2 went up. Was that year? Oh no, that was the year after that, wasn't it?
No, that was that year.
That was that year.
Yeah, so
2 went up.
We nearly caught Runcorn. It were like 20 points clear of us, but we went on that mad run. We finished second, and as part of like this restructuring, the best 10 of the best 16 runners up throughout the country, and we were like one of the best because our points per game, I think we finished on close to 90 points, if not 90 points. Yeah, it was after being mid-table in like November, and then we just it was great times, mate.
Yeah, brilliant. No, it was good.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've been sort of managed then in the
Northern Premier League.
Northern Prem. Yeah. I'm trying to think who the sponsor would be then. But
Evo Stick, I think.
Evo Stick. What obviously left feelings on leaving that? You know, what happened? Was it just not quite working out?
So we got promoted that season, and we went up, and then we had a mid-table season, which we consolidated. We'd done okay. There was some decent teams in there. Radcliffe won it, and do you know what's mad? Like forever and a day, because by then I would have been 30, 35. I'd kind of worried about like coming to the end, and being from 30 to 35 was probably my best attitude, because I knew it was coming to the end, and I never wanted it to end because I loved footy that much. So I always worked hard on it, but I always worried like there will be a day, and worried about certain managers. And the little thing with Joey where I didn't like it, because I was worried about, is this the end? And the worst thing is I kind of ended myself, because I was the player manager. I'd stopped playing myself to give others a chance, and they weren't as good as me. But because I was 34, in the back of my mind I was like, well, I might be over the here and people might think this, and I went against plenty of people who said to me, listen, you're still the best centre forward at this club, you've got to be playing yourself. But I kind of just felt like I couldn't look lads in the eye and go, I'm playing instead of you. And then what I'd do is I'd play them and think, I can do well better than that. And I'd go and play myself, so I'd lose them. But I should have just carried on playing myself. So in terms of the end, we had that mid-table finish, and then we had like 2 COVID seasons then, which were kind of cut short. Again, we were middle of the pack, and then we started what would have been our 4th season after COVID, so like the 22-23 season, was it? Something like that. And we just had a shocker of a start, like playing really well, because you know the footy we used to play, decent footy, playing really well. couldn't score, but I was proper done by then. I couldn't even know myself. So we just couldn't score, and it just kind of got to a point where the chairman pulled me and said, look, the board are kind of wondering what, like, tell us something. What's the plan? Where can you go with it? Convince us that
you're the right man.
And I couldn't. I couldn't. I was kind of true. And I remember we got beat at Trafford, and it was about 6 games in. I think we had 3 points after 6 games, and I'd spoke to the chairman the day before, and I always said, look, let's see how we get on these 2 games. See if there's any change in direction. Trafford, we were toothless. Like, the lads looked like they'd give up. Like, where they down tools, they weren't lit. It felt like I couldn't recover it. So I phoned him after Trafford, and Steve wasn't there that game either. Like, he's at a wedding. But I'd said to him, look, this doesn't go well today. Like, I'm just going to throw a hand in because I've got to be truthful. I feel in hindsight I kind of wilted a little bit. I should have just been a bit stronger. I went, no, I'll find a way. But I think we'd been there kind of 4 years. We'd had that real peak in terms of the first season, mid-tables, and I thought, well, have I taken it as far as I can? And I remember phoning him saying, look, can I come and see you? I'm done. And he was like, yeah. And it was quite emotional, really. It was quite emotional to just kind of sit there, very frank, and him be really thankful of everything we've done, but sad that it come to the end, and me not being able to take it. And I remember I was going to a function that night. I remember turning up at the function, as you've probably done yourself where in the past, where you catch your missus up on the Saturday because you've been a footy. She was just crying her eyes out like for us, and it's just footy. They don't understand, do they? It's football, and it is emotional, it is sad. There is times where it does get you like that. And then I had a year out, and it was the first time since being at Chester as a 17-year-old, and by this time I'd be 35, 36, so 20 odd years, first time out football, lost, Saturdays absolutely lost. Like, didn't know what. First couple are great, aren't they? Because you've got the kids, or
feels like I've got a game off or something.
I've got a younger, a little one now. He's our son. He's 6 this year, so he would have been like 2 at a time, 2 or 3, and it was great just having some time with him on a Saturday rather than rushing to footy. And it is like you say, when you've got a game and it gets called off, you love them Saturdays, but after like 5 or 6 you go, what am I doing here? And then applied for a few jobs throughout the course of that. It had some bullshit excuses from, honestly, the game, and there's some unbelievable CV writers out there. Unbelievable. Like, they get jobs and they just write. I don't know how many coats they've got in the wardrobe, like different coats of going, I've done this. But because they've done it 7, 8, 9 times, people go, we must have something.
Bit of experience.
Must have a bit of experience. Nah, not good enough. That's why he's got 8 coats.
Yeah, exactly.
But the problem I find that kind of probably, I don't know how far down, but definitely Northern Premier League, First Division, maybe even the Prem. No due diligence is done. No due diligence from chairman or.
I think a lot of it's who's in the building and who knows who. There's a few you've gone for, isn't it? And like, in CVs, really good meetings, you know, and some of the people have got the jobs in front of them, and people are like.
I know. And it's not even opinion. It's factual to go. I know that person. I know what they're good and not good at, and so do other people.
Yeah. So and then Ashton Town came along.
Yeah. So then I'd been out for a year, and then the chairman rang me at Ashton. I don't know if you'd ever been to Ashton back in the day, but with all due respect, it was just a club that existed. It was not much about it, but he put a couple of quid into it in terms of developing the ground, the clubhouse. It was really fresh, it was really nice, but he had to ring me twice, and I had to go and meet him for him to convince me that it was what it was saying, because all I'd ever known it to be was a team where you go and you pick 3 points up, like it was that sort of place. And he kind of sold me the dream. That was 2 years ago, where we survived relegation. So when I went in, they'd lost the opening kind of 5-6 games. So by the time you could get some players in, you were 10 games in, lost kind of 8 of them. So it was always going to be a scrap. 5-5. It was. But I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed, throughout all my career as a player and luckily enough as a manager at Widnes, I've been at the right end of the table, and I'd kind of...
You've not experienced the other side, so it's...
Tell a lie, sorry. One year at Leek, we were in a similar sort of position, and again, going back to that, I remember that, and I loved that as well. So, but I'd forgot about it, and then I really enjoyed it, and it was kind of successful. We stayed up, then we made some signings in the summer, and we got to the playoff final last year, so we'd gone from kind of near the bottom to the top, and you know we've got a healthy budget for our level.
Did you miss out last year, didn't you?
Beat on pens by South Liverpool.
Yeah, I remember
if you watch the game back, we've had 4 or 5 chances where I'm thinking I should have put myself on there. No, yeah, we had 4 or 5 really good chances where the game should be out of sight, and we dominated the game, but that doesn't get you the result. Dominating the game, does it? You've got to put the ball in the net. And then I think what happened was, bizarrely, it went straight to pens, no extra time. Right. It's like under 10s footy. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. Wow. So because it went straight to pens, and by half time people knew this. Well, sorry, tell a lie. At the start of the game we knew it, but I only knew it on the day. I thought it's a bizarre rule, but thought nothing of it because I thought, well, hopefully we'll just get the job. Just get the job done. Goes to pens, but because we dominated the game, they just went 50-50 now.
Yeah, there we go.
Whereas we were all tense and uptight, and that's how I look back at it. And we're unlucky, but we took them to there, and it was the club's highest ever finish in terms of anywhere in the pyramid. It's the highest they've ever finished third at step 6. And then this year we're the furthest that the club's ever been in the FA Vars, winning the second round of the Vars and stuff. So it's okay, mate. Yeah,
enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. We've had an indifferent start to the season, and I've stuck with a lot of in fact, I've stuck with all of the players who did us so well last year, and it's not worked out the same way. So we've had to bring the changes, and it's taken a little bit of time to kind of reignite and to get it back going. But we've won the last 3, so hopefully shoot to recovery, and we can kick on and go on one of them runs that we went on at Widnes.
As you say, mate, momentum in football is massive.
It's huge. Whether it be a game or whether it be a run of results. You see, look at Madrid last night. You know, you're 2-0 down at half time. You get a goal, the whole game changes, and just run away with it.
Last couple of questions. Obviously, throughout your clubs that you've played for, teams that you've managed, in terms of players that you've either played with or managed, the best, or deserves a mention at least.
Just one,
or one or two, or anybody you think I need to give them a shout out because I've got
to put Steve in there, like as a player, and also kind of coming in as a manager with me, because people often asked us about kind of the joint side of things, but when it's one of your best mates. It's easy. It's like your wife, innit? I don't know what yours are like, but you have loads of arguments. But together you find the right answer. And it was the same with Steve. So certainly Steve as a player, he was ahead of his time in terms of a centre back. You know, he played out back in the early 2000s, and that only started happening, you know, in the last 10 years or so. I played with some really good players. Mentioned Peter Comiskey before in terms of a goal scorer. It was just. Yeah, it was really good. And then probably the best player was probably Stu Cook.
Right, yeah. Oh, wow.
His feet.
Still playing for England.
Is he?
Yeah, I saw the squad
he's older than me. He must be 42, 43.
I saw the squad the other day, and there was a lad Fraser Corden, who played for Rushden for me. He's in the squad, and I looked at the squad.
I remember Fraser,
and Stu Cook was in it.
So, in terms of an out-and-out footballer and his feet,
frightening.
He was ridiculous, wasn't he? Like
played like futsal for England.
Yeah,
record appearances.
Yeah.
He just top goals.
He'd just show you the ball and just roll it, and it was like a magician.
Yeah, because he played futsal, he was so fit, wasn't he? And, and he was class. Yeah,
so
I forgot about him actually. He's good.
But the far too many. Like I played with so many good players who've probably made me look good at times, and certainly give me a lot of service, you know, to score the goals that I've scored. So, yeah. And
just to sort of wrap it up, plans for the future? I know obviously Ashton Town, and you know, as you said, you're having a bit of a go, good run in the Vars. But where do you sort of see yourself in the next couple of years?
I don't know, Paige. I asked myself this the other day, because we were talking before we started about always when we started about football in general, about what it's become and what it is. I'm kind of a little bit worried for it in terms of whether it's for me in 10 years time. I don't mean in the immediate future, but I see myself, God, I'm 40 now, as a 50-year-old, if footy carries on the way it was, is it something I want to be involved with? Because I'm certainly at the top level. I've lost the love for it. I won't watch it no more. It's just too commercialised and too far distant. So I've always loved non-league. I love it even more now. I signed a 2-year deal in the summer with Ashton, so you know, we need to try and get in the playoffs this year and hopefully have that little bit of luck. But at the very worst, be getting promoted next year, and then just kind of see where it takes us. There's a lot of kind of people look down on people in football in terms of levels. They let levels define them. And I found when I was managing at Widnes, and I'd helped quite a couple of managers who were at the level I've stepped down to now, in terms of giving them players and helping them, but I find that's not returned now the boot's on the other foot. And it does wind me up. It winds me up because I didn't have to do that. I did that because I'm a nice person and not for any gain. But when I need something now, when you needed something, I'll give it you. Exactly, When I need something, it's not forthcoming.
The door's shut,
And there's a lot of snobbery, not just in that, but in terms of like players looking down on levels and trying to sign players, and like they're looking down your nose, and bang average players.
Just come and see where you are in 2 years, isn't it? It's one of them. Well, you know, you're turning your nose down, see if you're at this level in 2 years, or you know,
or you've gone anywhere.
Exactly.
Bang average, and that's my frustration with kind of non-league. Like, don't get me started. We've got lads with agents at step 5 and 6 coming in with the agent, mate. There's one come in the other week, phoned us, he turned up with his agent. I think he just bought the suit from Matalan, or he got it from the Oxfam. The agent, and the player turns up and he's in like, do you ever remember the trackies used to have in the 90s with like the poppers on the side, like Mel C used to have? Turns up in them, mate. And you don't judge a book by its cover, but being around the game for a certain amount of time, you kind of get a good idea of what a footballer looks like normally. So I'm thinking, well, he's just turned up in these trackies, but he's training in these trackies, and these trackies are hanging over the edge of his boots.
Oh, stop.
And honestly, it was. And then the agent phoned me, and he was terrible, by the way. It wasn't just about the trackies. The agent phoned me and went, "So what do you think?" And I can't be honest. And like, in not so many words, I was like, "He's terrible, mate. Like, stop doing it to him. It's tight.
Wow.
It's tight."
He's got an agent.
Yeah, it's step 6. His agent's banding him about. This is a problem for me. It's a problem because it's putting people in the game who are not ready or never going to be ready.
Just a boxed exercise.
Yeah.
And I think with a lot of them it's like, and do you know what, with Joe constantly you're probably disheartening the player as well, because you give him a no, mate. How many other noses he had?
He killed the session.
Yeah.
Absolutely killed the session. You're trying to work on something, he can't even feed the ball in 5 yards, and you're like, has the agent even seen him play, or is it just
exactly, that's it. He's probably not.
Again, to come down to CVs, or someone just because you see them, don't you? Get them all the time. They'll email you with clips, the best clips of about 8 seconds.
The best clips I got sent me was I got goalkeeper at Mansfield when I was head of recruitment, so I'm watching this goalkeeper's clips. Penalty comes up. My penalty, I'm taking the penalty. The only one I missed in my career. He saves it top corner. The same game, I took 2 other penalties, scored them both. They weren't on the video, were they? You're never going to send bad clips, are you? Never going to send the penalties that are scored.
Okay.
Didn't sign them, obviously. It was a good save. It was a great save, to be fair, the penalty.
You said only one you ever missed. I've seen you one. I've seen you miss one.
Apart from that one. Anyway, Kev, thanks, mate. Listen, you said you didn't have a story. It's a great story. Hopefully, I'm sure everyone's enjoyed it who's tuned in, and wish you all the best of luck for Ashton Town for the rest of the season and beyond.
Thank you.
Okay, here we are with the Kevin Towey pub quiz. Kev, there are 18 questions or 90 seconds of time, whichever we get to first.
Okay.
If we don't get through all 18, I'll ask you the last ones at the end anyway, to see how many you would have got. It's when I say the Kevin Towey pub quiz, it's the tedious link to Kevin Towey. So every question has got something linked to it, whether it's a club or something like that you play for, or the country you live in or something like that.
Yeah.
Tedious, as I say. So I'll ask the question, give me an answer, I'll say correct, incorrect. We'll go through the incorrect answers at the end, if there are any. The leaderboard is Dave Morgan scored 8.
Okay.
So you got 8 to beat. Okay.
Second.
Yeah. Heck is on time. You ready, Heck?
Yes.
Tell us when you're ready to go.
Go.
In which year was Chester City FC dissolved?
2007.
Incorrect. Question 2. In the 2015-16 North West Counties First Division playoff final, who did Barnton beat?
Bake Up.
Correct. Which star of the TV show Towey went on to play for Russian and Diamonds?
Mark Wright.
Correct. 4. What is the nickname of Leek Town?
Pass.
5. Kenny Dalglish made 355 appearances for Liverpool, but did Ian Rush make more or less than Sir Kenny?
More.
Correct. What was the score when Marine played Tottenham in the FA Cup?
3-0.
Incorrect. Legendary former Everton winger Kevin Sheedy signed for Everton from which club?
Pass. Before my time.
Warrington Town play their home games where?
Can't leave a park.
Correct. In which year were you part of the Skelmersdale United team that won the Lancashire Cup?
2009.
Correct. In September 2021, as manager of Widnes, you received an FA charge for improper conduct, but against who were you playing?
Kids Grove.
Incorrect. 11. You are the all-time leading goal scorer for Widnes, but how many goals did you score?
73.
Correct. Who wore the number 7 shirt for England during the 2024 European Championships?
Saka.
Correct. In the 2015-16 season, Barnton FC's kit was manufactured by which brand?
Give over.
Correct. 14. Which other player made their Warrington Town debut?
Time.
I've started, so I'll finish. Which other player made their Warrington Town debut on the same day as you in a 1-0 home defeat against Alsager?
Say that question again, sorry.
Oh, you're just playing because you got the
No.
time. Which other player
Yeah.
made their Warrington Town debut on the same day as you in a 1-0 home defeat against Alsager?
Thomas Lamb.
Andy Thomas.
Andy Thomas.
So if we go through these, let me just ask you the questions that I didn't answer. There's only 4. See which how many you would have got at the end. In which year were the Nike Mercurial boots first released? I know you like your boots.
Yeah, but it was an Adidas, man. 2001.
1998. Which former Luton captain Sonny Bradley left the Hatters to join which club?
Oh, bitch, come on. Oxford.
Derby County. When you signed for Runcorn Linnets in 2011, what brand of vodka was the league sponsored by?
Vodka.
Correct. And finally, your one official game for AFC Russian and Diamonds came in the Northants Senior Hillier Cup against which team?
I can't remember.
It doesn't matter 'cause they don't count it. Cookno United.
Ew.
Cookno
I would have never got that.
So,
I remember trying to get there.
go on next. So we're trying to
I
get.
remember trying to get there, yeah.
So in which year was Chester City dissolved? You said
A
2007.
bit later than that, 10.
2010.
10, yeah.
That one you're correct. Towie, great answer on Mark Wright.
Yeah.
Nickname of Leek Town?
Is it the Hatters?
No.
No.
The Blues.
The Blues.
Kenny Dalglish 355. Yeah. Ian Rush 427.
Right.
5-0 Tottenham beat Marine.
Yeah.
Kevin Sheedy signed for Everton from Liverpool.
Did he?
Yeah, I thought that was
Never
just a
knew
well-known
that.
fact.
No, I didn't know that. And it is a bit before. What year was that? Late
No idea.
80s?
Yeah, no, way before that.
Well, I was born 84.
Yeah, but okay, fair enough. That was right. You got an FA charge against Runcorn Linnets.
Oh, yeah.
In
Is that the
September
opening day?
20, yeah.
Yeah, I went into their dugout and caused a bit of murder, didn't I? Yeah. It went off, we were getting beat 2-0.
Did you not claim you forgot what dugout you're in because you used to play from?
I could have, but I was trying to kick people, so...
He probably doesn't stand.
Yeah. Don't think you'd kick your own, would you?
No.
73, great shout, Widnes. Saka, good shout. Jivova, what a good kit that was, wasn't it?
Fell apart.
Yeah. Andy Thomas, yeah, we got all the rest. So how many? Heck, 8 out of 14.
Okay.
So you'll probably go second on the leaderboard because Morg's got 12 questions. He got 8 out of 12.
Yeah,
you got 8 out of 14.
I'm disappointed, didn't I?
But good effort. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.